I'm Alex Del Sordo, and this is episode 2, season 2, Coaches Yelling and Familiar Coaches. Okay, familiar coaches, familiar faces. These are coaches that are representing the Premier Rowing League. Some of them are doing very, very well. One person is not doing very well. Elephant in the room, unfortunately. We're going to get into that a little bit. We have 2 questions, possibly a third for a surprise. And the reigning champion, the mustache that rivals any man in the world, has won. Diggers, he's already 1-0 right now. So we're going to do a quick intro and then we're going to get started. First up, Nichole Martin. Nichole, you hail from the Pacific Northwest. You are the head coach of the Northwest Kodiaks. Talk to me about how you're feeling for the season. Are you excited to be part of Coaches Yelling?
Yeah, I'm super excited to be here. It's my first Coaches Yelling, so I'm a little nervous, but hoping that I can answer these questions correctly and get some points. Kodiaks are having a little bit of a challenge these last 2 weeks, but we've been doing some changes behind the scenes and revamping some things that we're not going to share just yet. So we're hoping that this week and the next 3 weeks or 2 weeks, however many we have left, we'll start to bring in some more points. And we're still getting more new athletes. So our roster is by no means done growing. So I think we can hopefully claw our way back to the top.
I like the claw. I love it. Keep that energy going. Now listen, these guys are seasoned veterans at this show. Be prepared, all right? So now moving to Hodge. Hodge, you are lighting me up on social media. You are calling me out nonstop. I totally get it. You are the #1 coach in the league. Your team is dominant week after week. How excited are you to be a part of Coaches Yelling Season 2, Episode 2?
Pretty pumped. Season 1 came in a close second place. I was pretty frustrated about that. So I know Digger's over here won episode 1 this season. So, he's coming into this pretty confident. I'm excited. I'm excited.
And fly, Eagles fly. I love the jersey. Diggers, #1, you killing it already, 1-0 on the season. Midwest Frozen Tundra has had some ups and downs, but you have incredible athletes. Are you prepared and ready to take down these 2 monsters here for season 2, episode 2?
I mean, absolutely. I'm ready to go. I think I've just been living off the buzz of the last one, and the moustache has, I think, grown with a little bit of confidence. But I mean, as Hodge said, I know him pretty well, and he definitely doesn't lack confidence. So I think he'll be pretty ready to go himself.
I love it. Now, listen, we're going to get right into it. So, Nichole Martin, I'm going to ask the question one time, okay? Now, you get the advantage of going first. Now, take advantage of this, okay? These guys are going to hear the question once, and that's it. We're going to keep rolling fast. The PRL is all about speed. So when this goes to the water, how do you think it changes the look of the athlete, or does it change at all? You're on the clock.
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to change the look of all the athletes. We're seeing a lot of CrossFitters right now, some rugby players out there, but when it comes to short sprints on the water, regardless of the size of the boat, you need to have some technical background and you need to know how to move a boat. And as far as I know, CrossFitters can't really move boats unless they've learned the basics of novice rowing 101. So especially if we're going in with small boats, I mean, that's even more technical. You're looking at singles, pairs, and doubles. I mean, it takes a lot to get that boat up and off the line technique-wise, along with power and speed. So I think we're going to see more rowers and more elite-level rowers as well.
All right, so I'm going to put you there. You kind of contradicted yourself a little bit. You're saying that they're CrossFitters, which are clear different than rowers, but you're saying that we need technique. So the way I kind of heard that, I give you 2 points. A little bit contradictory. I think that you're saying not much change because rowers are going to need to be good on technique and we won't be able to change CrossFitters. Hodge, you're up. You know the question. I'm going to start the clock. Go.
This is going to change it completely. I think my team in particular, we're pretty stacked with experienced rowers. I think if there was an on-the-water portion this year, I would be very scared if I was the rest of the league. Just because right now, since it's all in the erg, like these CrossFitters, Kelly Valdez, Chris Glasgow on the Southeast, like they're killing it. But it's like if we had a water portion, they would get smoked. And they wouldn't even be close. I don't care if it's a short distance piece. If you think about a novice rower, even with a year of experience, 2 years of experience against someone who's been in a boat 4+ years, they're going to get dusted. Like a novice rower isn't anywhere close to an experienced rower. So even if these CrossFitters learn to row, they would be exposed. So I'm pumped for the future years. If there's an erg piece and a water piece, I think the Outlaws are going to dominate even more. So,
Well, that's it there. So time, 51 seconds. I think we're kind of all in agreement here, but I'm really interested to hear what Diggers had to say coming from Australia, where it's a little bit different than what you two have experienced. Diggers, the question, you are on the clock.
I mean, it's interesting that Nichole brings in, the rugby players they're picking up. I think that it does change to that type of build when we get on the water. I think back home we've got a lot of cross athletes that are rugby players at road. They're shorter, they're wider, they're stockier, and the first 500, they are gone. We're doing these shorter distances. If we're getting people around 6 foot, 220 that can put the blade in and out, you can fake it for a minute. You can fake it for 250 meters. So I reckon, we bring in this on the water, shorter, stockier. We can teach strokes. We're coaches. That's what we do, baby.
I love it. Short and simple, gets it done in 36 seconds. When we get back from a word from our sponsors, this is going to be a quick one. We have a guy out in the lead, Diggers, 3 points, tied Hadzo and Nichole at 2. More from us in a second. We're back, and look, he's out in the lead 3-2, but it's a close one. And this second question is a real good one, and it's blending a little bit of the NFL. So here's my question, guys. Listen up. Tom Brady, most winning quarterback of all time. Bill Belichick, arguably the best coach of all time. If you were an athlete on your program, would you rather have Tom Brady as a star athlete on your program, or would you have Bill Belichick running the show for your team? You're on the clock.
Yeah, I mean, Brady is definitely, 6'4", he's got all the measurables, he brings that intensity, he brings that competitiveness. But I honestly think he's the type of guy that if the boat wasn't going well, he'd be the one yelling, "Sit!" and throwing his hands and just obliterating knuckles. I think the tantrums would get old. I think that people wouldn't want to row with him. And I think Brady, Belichick is consistent. He will go over the film, give you all the ways to win, and he'll create that hardworking next man up without all the tantrums, without all the, waterworks and hissy fits. And, I mean, he went double-digit wins with Matt freaking Castle. I mean, you can't tell me this guy couldn't take anyone and turn them into champions.
I love it. That's a perfect response. Hadzo, we're going to write to you. You love football. It's in your blood. How do you answer that question? You're on the clock.
I'm going Belichick 100%. You look at Brady at the combine, watch his videos. I mean, not athletic. No, I don't care if Brady's on my team. And like Belichick, I mean, I think coaching in this league is very interesting because, even right now when we're spread across the country, I still think there's a lot of strategy in the week to week, who you're starting. The athletes, I mean, they're strong. They're going to keep being strong. So I think if you have one game changer athlete on your roster, that doesn't mean you're going to win. Take Chris Glasgow. They have 2 of the fastest open men on the Southeast. And they're still going to lose this year. So it's a team atmosphere. It's a team competition. If you want to win each week, your team has to perform, not just one athlete. So
time, perfect response. I mean, it does seem as coaches, you're going to choose the coach because he sets the tone or she sets the tone. And Nichole, we're going to bring you in here. I'd love to get your response here. Ready? You're on the clock.
Yeah, so initially my gut response was to go with Brady just because I'm a Seahawks fan and I hate the Patriots. But that being said, kind of to follow up with the last 2 guys said, it's not one rower that makes the team, right? A coach can really take mediocre athletes in a mediocre program or a program that by all means could be dying and change it. And that happens with a coach and the coaching staff and the energy that coach brings. And I think that's what Bill does every week. I mean, he's really reinventing the sport every week. He's reinventing plays and he's shown that he's successful and that he can take football, longevity wise, down into something that we haven't seen before. And Brady, he's got a timestamp on his card. I mean, his career will end and it takes more than one person to move a boat across the finish line. I don't care unless you're in a single. And even then, right, you got to work with your coach.
Time. Shut her off. CJ, shut her off. Yeah, here's my take, okay? I've been running the league here. Here's my take. The question was more about, do you want a star athlete or do you want a great coach? And forget about it's Tom Brady. Tom Brady represents a great athlete. Tom Brady, one great athlete could actually make a difference in a program, Okay, it can make a difference. It can bring in better talent. It can bring take LeBron James, right? It's not always just about the coach. My opinion, I think I'd rather have Tom Brady or someone like Tom Brady, a star athlete who can quarterback, who can coach, who can bring in great talent. That's what I think. Now, after a word from our sponsors, the third question pop up, and this is going to determine the winner here. More from us in a second. And we're back. So, look, we're going to be having this conversation a lot down the future. And this last question really is for my benefit. I'm going to be very frank with you guys because it's been gnawing at me for the last couple of weeks. We're going to start with Diggers. Diggers, bring you on the clock here. How do you determine the MVP of our league? You're on the clock.
That's a great question. I mean, I think it's got to combine both just straight up wins and losses with also, what type of viewership are they getting? This is about speed. This is about who's going fast, but we're trying to grow this. We're not in this for one season, in this 5, 10. So who's bringing the eyeballs and who's getting the wins? So, I mean, I think personally I'm biased. I think Paris Miller's been doing both of those. She would be my early guess. Great interview, great times. And, she's the future. And I think that's what we're looking for MVP.
Great. 30 seconds short. I like it. Interesting. Eyeballs and wins. Okay, Hodge, you're up. How do you determine the MVP of our league? You're on the clock.
Who's the most valuable player on the team that wins? That's how you determine the MVP. I think Diggers has a good point with, viewership. I think Paris is timid. She's a 15-year-old girl. She might be strong on the erg, but she's still timid. So you need attitude, you need spunk, you need confidence. But I definitely think the MVP should come from the team that wins. You take the NBA, for example. LeBron James never wins MVP, but he's clearly the best athlete in the league, but he's not winning MVP because they're going to pick the team that wins the whole thing. So, I'm going with whatever team has comes out on top, which is going to be the Big South Outlaws. Who's their top athlete? That's who should be MVP.
Stop, man. That's a great response. I like it. I like it. Now, Nichole, you're going to close out here. Listen, you need to blow me away here. You need to just shock the world. You are down a whole lot of points. Nichole, how do you determine the MVP of our league? You're on the clock.
Well, I think it's, again, overall points, who can come out undefeated on these races week after week after the end of the league, who is undefeated. I'll agree with Diggers, who's got the most viewers. That's great. But on top of that, who's got a most unique story? I mean, it's cool if you can sit in a CrossFit gym and you can pull hard on an erg, but I happen to know that there are some athletes out there sitting on commercial fishermen boats in the middle of a storm pulling race pieces to earn points for their teams. I mean, how is that not MVP status, MVP level? I mean, these people have unique stories. UFC fighters who are learning to row. I mean, these people who are bringing the viewers because of their stories and who are also winning, I think are the true MVPs, regardless of if they're not on a winning team at the end of the day.
All right, last final question, because now you got me fired up here. Do we have a man and a woman MVP, or should there just be one MVP? Nichole, answer.
That's tough. I say one. I mean, just one and done.
I don't want an explanation. You say one. Hodge, you get a man and a woman, or just a man or a woman? Sorry, one or two.
One MVP. There's not two most valuable players.
One. See, that's what's beautiful about the Premier Rowing League. This is a man and a woman's team. It's not just men, not just women. I love it. After a word from our sponsors, we're going to tell you who the winner is, and we're going to close it out. Hang tight. All right, so we're back, and I had to call in the commish. All right, this was really tight. The commish he's kind of like my mentor on this. He's my guru. He helps me direct where this heads. And to be honest with you, it was his first two questions. He's the one that created it. Here's the thing. The league is looking for a way to make it entertaining. We care about entertainment, but we care about relatability to other sports because that's where things fall. So the winner, Hodge, takes it. Big South Outlaws. I love the confidence today. He takes the victory. Diggers was a very close second. Unfortunately, Nichole, you're brand new, okay? You're brand new, and you're going to get better. You're going to have a tighter answer. You're going to understand how this works. Excellent job, everyone. Nichole, we'll start with you. Finishing remarks. What do you want to say to the audience and the team and all the players out there in our league today?
Just that don't count the Kodiaks out yet. We still got a couple weeks left to get some more points. So we might be quiet and kind of the underdogs right now, but that doesn't mean that we're not done putting in the work. And good luck to the rest of the teams. It's been super fun so far, and love seeing the energy out there and all the posts from the other programs and the other teams in the league. So it's been cool.
And I think, was it your dog that won Dog of the Week?
He did, yes. So I did get a win. I got one win this week. Yoshi won. Typical. Yoshi wins more than I do, so.
There it is. Diggers, it was close, man. I really do love your response, but second place today, you're 1-1. What do you want to say to the audience?
Yeah, I mean, that was definitely a lot of fun today. I mean, I think, in terms of competition going forward, I like our matchups. I think, we're going to pile on some points in the next few weeks. I think Hodge got a little bit confused. I think what he was meaning to say is he thinks the coach of the Big South Outlaws should be MVP instead of their top athlete. I think you misspoke a little bit there, Hodge. But don't worry, mate. I'm here for you. I'll always have you back. I'll always have you back.
I love it. Hodge, you did it. You came through. Winner. Your ego is fantastic. It's what we want in the league. How you feeling?
Oh, I feel great, man. Feel great. Last week we beat up Digger's team. They challenged us. They tried to challenge us, but still took the loss on the week. So that's 2 wins against Diggers in the last few days, which feels great. Looking forward to beating them in the Western Conference Finals. I think Southwest Armada will make it there. We're excited to match up with them in week 8. We're just gonna keep winning.
What a way to close it out. That is episode 2, season 2 in the books. More from us next week. Thanks for watching.